This video is designed to be used alongside the Back to Basics, Back to Baby training aid to inform discussion with parents-to-be, new parents and caregivers about the importance of safe sleep for babies. Not all infant deaths can be avoided. However, each year some babies die as a result of tragic sleep accidents because they have not been able to breathe properly during sleep. Many people know what the safe sleep messages are, but we want to empower people to understand the why behind these messages. The clearest way to do this is to go back to the basic physiology of a baby's breathing and why it is so important that we protect this during all sleep times. Let's go back to basics, back to baby. So, how does the tube in Back to Basics, Back to Baby help when you're talking with families? You will be helping parents and caregivers understand how some sleep positions or environments could potentially compromise the airway, reducing the oxygen that baby receives. Simple demonstrations using the tube to show how a baby's airways can be pinched, kinked or blocked will help people to understand how easily accidental suffocation can happen, but importantly, how easy it is to prevent. A baby's airways always need to be clear, but this is especially important when they are asleep. Caregivers may also be sleeping and so not observing them. When a baby is developing in the uterus, they get all of their oxygen through the umbilical cord. They do not rely on their airways during this time. Once they are born and begin to breathe independently, every baby then relies on their own airways to give them the vital oxygen they need to breathe. Baby's head is big and heavy, and they have weak neck muscles, which make it more likely that their head will roll forwards onto their chest when sleeping, if they're not lying flat. Many people do not realise that for the first 3 to 4 months of a baby's life, they mostly breathe through their nose, unlike older children and adults, who use their mouth and nose. So it is important to emphasise this to parents and ensure they understand why a baby's face must be kept clear of anything which could cover it or fall onto it. Accidental suffocation can happen to any baby from any background in certain sleep environments, but it can be prevented if safe sleep advice is understood and followed.
My cot or my crib should be firm and flat. I sleep on my back and that is that.
If a baby is lying face down, their airways may be blocked if they are against a soft surface, which could mould around their face. Some parents and caregivers might worry that baby will choke if placed on their back. In actual fact, the opposite is true, and this discussion with parents can really go a long way to reassure them if they're concerned. When a baby is lying on their back, their windpipe, through which their oxygen reaches their lungs, lies above the tube that carries food to the stomach. If a baby regurgitates any food when they are lying on their back, this is kept below their windpipe. However, if baby is on their front, their food tube lies on top of the windpipe. This means if they do regurgitate any food or if they vomit, the fluids are much more likely to pool at the entrance of the windpipe and can enter the windpipe by gravity because it lies beneath. This can lead to aspiration of food content into the lungs, which can have serious health repercussions and can even lead to death by choking. Using your teaching aid, you can demonstrate this by doubling over the tube and showing the proximity of the breathing and feeding tubes as they lie within the baby, one on top of the other. This can be helpful for visualisation. Choking deaths are less likely if you follow the safe sleep messages. Evidence since the Back to Sleep campaign of the early 1990s supports this. Any sleeping surface or product in which a baby could become trapped in a position other than flat on their back may lead to them having their airway squashed or pinched.
A clear cot is always best. I don't need a bumper, a pillow or a nest. A blanket or sleeping bag under my arms, and nothing else that could do me harm. That even counts for my favourite teddy. Just leave him on the side and I'll cuddle him when I'm ready.
Any object in a baby's sleep space, especially those which are soft, can cover a baby's face and prevent oxygen from getting through their airways. A baby could accidentally suffocate if their nose is pressed against a surface. You can demonstrate this by pinching the end of the tube with your fingers. If soft items are added into the baby's sleep space with the intention of making them safer or more comfortable, for example using cot bumpers, positioning devices or nests, these may actually become a risk for accidental suffocation. Anything soft in a baby's sleep environment or where they may be unsupervised while they're awake is not safe for them. Baby cannot move items away like an older child or adult can. They cannot move themselves away from something depriving them of oxygen either.
Look at my jammies, they are so cute. Now remember, I sleep feet to foot. This means sleeping towards the bottom and not the top. Not that the babbling and cooing will stop. This stops me from wriggling down. I just might during a nap time or during the night.
Ensuring that baby's blanket is tucked in under their mattress and tucked in around their chest no higher than their armpits is important in order to avoid loose bedding covering their face, which is a risk for suffocation. Baby should always be placed in a feet-to-foot position, meaning their feet are right at the bottom of their cot. This avoids baby wriggling down underneath bedding, which could happen if they were placed at the top. Again, this could lead to unintentional face covering and risk of accidental suffocation.
I know it is tempting to have me sleep in your bed, but I'm safer in my own cot instead. As long as we are in the same room, you shouldn't fear. I'll be comfy and cosy over here. I love cuddles and kisses and loving embrace, but when I am sleeping, I need my own space.
When talking about safe sleep, the controversial issue of whether having baby sleep in an adult bed is or can be safe will likely come up. A parent may take a baby into bed to comfort or feed them. Everyone would agree that this is common practice and poses no risk. However, the risk to baby increases when the parent falls asleep and baby is still in the adult bed. The adult is now asleep and is not alert to baby's airways being covered. Baby could accidentally suffocate if there is pressure on or against their chest, which you can demonstrate by pressing the sides of the tube together with your finger and thumb. Once baby has fed or has been comforted and settled, they should be placed back in their own sleep space before the adult falls asleep. Parents can feed baby comfortably, cuddle baby in a comfortable place, but should also be aware that they too might fall asleep. They should ensure that the space is free from any pillows or soft bedding, so that if they do accidentally fall asleep, these suffocation risks for baby are removed. If there is more than one person present, the person not feeding or comforting may try to stay alert to ensure baby is in a safe position and space once baby is sleeping.
Drifting off on a sofa or chair could do me harm. If you're nodding off, why not set an alarm?
Falling asleep on a sofa or armchair puts baby at a much greater risk of accidental suffocation. This might be because their chin becomes tucked forward, kinking their airway. It may also happen if baby is lying on their stomach on their parent's or caregiver's chest, which could cause their face and airways to become covered or blocked. Baby might become trapped or wedged against the soft material of cushions, back of the sofa or armchair. This could mould around their face, pinching their nose or compressing their chest, so they cannot take deep enough breaths to get enough oxygen through their airway. Any position where the baby's neck is against a surface could also restrict the amount of oxygen that can get through their airways.
And be aware when we're in the car, I need regular breaks if we're driving too far. Watch for my head dropping down to my chest. My head is so heavy when I need a rest.
In this position, a baby might be deprived of vital oxygen, as their head can drop down onto their chest. This is why the safe sleep message is for a baby to sleep on their back, using their natural pillow, the bulge at the back of their head, to hold them in the optimum position to keep their airway open as they sleep. Think about where a baby might sleep and how these sleep locations may pose a risk. Any position which is semi-upright or seated, such as a car seat, bouncy chair, swing or sling, or any position where they are lying down but their head is pushed forward by anything more than the pillow nature intended a baby to use, might pose a risk. Babies should not be placed in car seats to sleep, and if they fall asleep during a journey, they should be visible to the driver, especially if there is only one adult in the vehicle. When the journey is finished, babies should be lifted out of the car seat. Before purchasing any products for baby, parents and caregivers should think about how and when they will be used, and whether they can and should be used for sleeping. Many nursery products will carry a warning label, advising that a baby should not be left unsupervised. Remember that even when a baby is sleeping in the same room as a parent or caregiver, if they too are sleeping, then the baby is unsupervised. The only products approved for unsupervised sleeping are a cot, crib, travel cot, or carry cot pram. Remember, the fetal position is fine before birth, as the umbilical cord delivers the oxygen that baby needs. After birth, a baby needs to lie flat on their back with their face clear to protect this vital airway. By sharing this message at every opportunity you have when meeting with expectant parents, new parents, and caregivers, we can provide important information so that they can understand how to reduce the risk of a tragic sleep accident happening to their baby. Parents and caregivers looking after young babies need support and need to feel confident that they are doing the best they can to care for baby. If they understand how a baby's anatomy and physiology is different from that of an older child or adult, they can better understand why safe sleep messages exist. Babies are not simply a mini version, and we need to ensure their airways are protected. Let us all take responsibility to ensure that everyone knows the simple steps to take to reduce the number of accidental suffocation deaths that happen each year to babies. These are not just numbers, they are precious lives, important lives, and these deaths are preventable. Produced by Safe Sleep Scotland, the education arm of the Scottish Cot Death Trust charity, Scotland's only charity dedicated to the issue of sudden and unexpected death in infancy and young children. This resource has been developed through collaboration with Stephanie Cowan, founder of Change for Our Children in New Zealand, and is an adaptation of their programme Through the Tubes. We give thanks to Stephanie for her support and permission to model our approach on her original work. Thank you.